The Basics of APA Formatting 7th edition. This basically 7th edition is used for references. First of all, APA is basically the sort of format we use for referencing in a very systematic and scientific way. So let's discuss it one by one. So what is the general format of APA? So in general format we have basically four parts. The first is title page, the second is abstract, third is main body, and the fourth is reference. So your essay should include four major sections, and these sections are again subdivided into further sections where the main body must have introduction, literature review, methodology, discussion analysis, conclusion, recommendations, and then we have the fourth part, references. So these are the points that a paper or the research paper must have. So will be the what will be the format of title page? So how you will basically write a title page? Formatting the title page. So you must have basically keep in mind three to four things. The first is the title, basically that is named as header, and the second thing is basically the title including your affiliation, and the third one is your name and your institutions. Again, this is a sort of affiliation from the institution or from the organization from which you belong. So these are the basically main themes and main points that you will have to discuss in the research paper or in the title of the research paper. Then we have basically we will discuss these points one by one. So on first point we have abstract. Abstract basically must cover the whole idea of research. Abstract must be from 150 words to 250 words. Abstract is basically the summary of your paper in an accurate, concise, and specific manner. You basically, in your abstract, you basically wrote about your introduction, your research questions, your methodology, that method you have adopted, and then about the summary and analysis, that what I did, and these are the conclusions, and these are the recommendations. This basically is basically the short summary of your research paper or research thesis. So basically in 7th APA 7th edition we will discuss about the type of citations basically we do in our research paper or research thesis. So first of all, how to we basically learn how to cite. There are two types of citations. The first is in-text citation and second is end-text citation. So we will discuss these one by one. So in-text citations are basically used to cite information that have taken from another source and used in your paper in the forms of either in the form of direct quotes, either in the form of paraphrasing, either in the form of summary. Whenever you have used a source provided in the parenthesis, basically this is the format when you write about any other person's work in your research papers, then you have to quote the reference for the authenticity of your information, that this information, I have taken this information from that paper, and that paper is published in recognized journal or recognized or in the edition of recognized international conferences. So these are basically authenticate your research. So for example, if you have to write you have to if you have to cite researcher in your research, then the first thing is that you will write about his second name, his or her second name, and then comma, then the year of publication, on which date or on which in which year that research has been published. So for quoting and close paraphrases, provided the author's name, date of publication, and page number. This is also another type of in-text citation. When you have a close paraphrases, then you will write the second name of the author, a year of publications, and then you cite the page number, that on page this on page 27 this information is present in this paper, and I have quoted this, I have taken this information and I have quoted this information into my paper. And the basic authenticity of information is that on John's 1999, the research was conducted by John in 1999, and on page 27 this information is present. So in second terms, in-text citation basically, when you have to formatting the quotations. So there are basically two things you must keep in mind when you have to quote something. The first thing is that if the quotations words are more than 40 words, then you have to write it down on a separate note in a indented forms. And if it is less than 40 words, then you can write in within the lines. So with a single phrase, you can say that David in 1996 stated that a traumatic response frequently entails a delayed, uncontrolled, repetitive appearance of the hallucinations and other intrusive phenomena. This is present in page 11 of that research, and this is quoted in that way. Then without a single phrase, a traumatic response frequently entails a delayed, uncontrolled, repetitive appearance of hallucinations and other intrinsic phenomena. This is again the direct and indirect quoting, that how you directly quote a thing and how you indirectly quote a thing. Then in text citations, we have the formatting a summary or a paraphrase. If we have to cite a summary or paraphrase, then we have two ways. The first is with a single phrase. We have the example that Ahmed in 2002 explained this. Sibutramine suppresses appetite by blocking the reuptake of the neurotransmitters serotonin and norepinephrine in the brain. Again, we have the form that without a single phrase, sibutramine suppresses appetite by blocking the reuptake of the neurotransmitters serotonin and the norepinephrine in the brain. Again, you can see that how with this single phrase and how without a single phrase we quote a same research in a different way. So in text citations, when we have a work with two authors, so basically we will write about the second names of both authors, a symbol of and, then year of publication, and then we have page number. So let's take the example. According to feminist researchers Bergin and Tate in 1997, it is no longer true to claim that women's responses to the war have been ignored. This is with the, if we have this thing in a single phrase, when we have without a single phrase, some feminist researcher questions that women's response to the war have been ignored. So when citing a work with two authors, we use and in between the authors' names in the single phrase, but use the symbol of and between their names in parentheses. So in text citation, I work with 3 to 5 authors. So we have an example that when we are citing a number of authors, when we have 3 authors, then we will cite the second names of 3 authors and then their years of publication. And if we have more than 3 authors, then we will write the second name of first author, and then we will place at L and then a year of publication. The word at L is basically logically presented when we have more than 3 authors. of a research paper that we are quoting in our research. And at L is basically a smart and concise and scientific way of basically portraying this sort of citation. Then in text citations, a work with 6 and more authors. Again, the thing is same, that we will, when citing a work with 6 and more authors, identify the first author's name followed by at L. With a single phrase, Smith et al. In 2006 maintained that, and without a single phrase, Smith et al. Dot comma and year of publication. In 2006, this research was conducted, and these are the result of that research. In in-text citation, if we have a work of an unknown author, then we will, when citing a work of an unknown author, use the source's full title in the single phrase and cite the word of the title followed by the year of publication in parentheses. Put titles of the articles and chapters in quotation mark, italicizes title and the book and the report. With single phrase, according to Indiana Jones Federal Accountability System, and that was sort of a report published in 2008, and this is the way when we have a work of an unknown author. In in-text citations, when we quote about the name of an organization, when citing an organization, mention the organization the first time when you cite the source in the single phrase or the parenthesis. The data collected from the Food and Drug Administration 2008 confirmed that, and if the organization has a well-known abbreviation and include the abbreviation in parentheses, the first time the source is cited and use only abbreviation in second or in later citations. Food and Drug Administration, which is whose abbreviations is FDA, confirmed FDA's expert tested this, and these are the recommendations or these are the conclusions that they have drawn from this research. So these were the in-text citations. Now we will discuss about the references page, the in-text references or in-text citations. So in references page, basically we have to keep double-spaced reference entries. Then we have to order entries in the alphabetical order by the author's surnames. On the center of the page, we have to write about the heading of references at the top of the page, and that heading must contain the references that we have quoted in a research paper. Plus left to the first line of the entry and indent the subsequent line. You can see that the first line is starting from the left, and then the second line is indented one. So these are the basically formula, basically the format we use in end text references or on the reference page. So the basics is that inverts authors names, just as Smith, last named first followed by initials. Alphabetize reference list entries by the last name of the first author of each. Then capitalize only the first letter of the first word of the title and subtitle, the first word after a colon or a dash in the title, and proper nouns. You can see that to avoid effective poster presentations, an annotated first word is capital to word, and then after colon the word an a is capital. So basic format for book is that, so first of all we have to write the author's second name, year of publications, title of work, location and publisher. So first of all we have the example of Calfe R.C. and Veronica R.R. in 1991, APA Guide to Preparing Manuscript for Journal Publications, Washington DC, American Psychological Association. APA is basically American Psychological Association, which basically gives us a style of formatting references. That this is the way to quote someone's work in your research paper. So this is the basically format of a book, that how you basically write or cite a book in your research paper, that this information I have written this information from this book, this is the reference of that book. Then the second is basically article from an online periodical with DOI assigned. DOI is basically digital digital imaging objectification identification. So authors, second names, date of publication, title of article, title of journal, volume number, page range, and then DOI. So we have Brownell D in 2007 to find effective poster presentations and annotated bibliography. Annotated bibliography is basically the title of the article. Towards effective poster presentation and annotated bibliography. This is basically the title of the research paper. The European Journal of Marketing is basically the name of the journal. 41 is the volume. 1245 to 1283 is basically the page range. On that page, this research article is present, and then DOI is also written in this when you basically collecting data from online periodicals. Then articles from online periodicals without or no DOI assigned. Online scholarly journal article without a DOI require the URL of the journal homepage. Then we have the example that Kenneth IA in 2000, a Buddhist response to the nature of human rights, Journal of Buddhist Ethics 8, retrieved from. We have basically added the word retrieved from, and then we have put the URL from where we have taken this reference. Reference of online encyclopedias and dictionaries. In online encyclopedias and dictionaries, often encyclopedias and dictionary are do not provide bylines, authors' names. When no byline is present, move the entry name to the font of the citation. Provide publication date if present, or specify if no date. ND is basically specify if no date is present on the entry. So for example, we have the feminism ND. It means that its date of publication is not confirmed in Encyclopedia Britannica Online, retrieved from that source. So reference from web document, web page, or report. We basically write about the authors. These are the basically the authors. One thing must be kept in mind when we will write about the author of research paper. When basically we have more than 3 authors of research paper, in text citation we will write the first name, second name of first author, and then we will write about um, at L. But on end reference we have to write the name of each of the researcher that contributed on the previous research that we have cited. So these are basically the names who worked on that research in 2010 May 5. General format retrieved from this. These are basically, this is the format of web document, web page, or report. So you may have to hunt around to find the information. So this is basically the format of APA 7th edition, that how to quote someone else information legally and authentically in your with sound authenticity in your research papers. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share my channel for more informative video. Thank you.